Welcome to the Rusted Garden. It's January 28th, 2018, and I figured I'd start my first tour with what I'm doing indoors. And I'm really setting up my grow light station and growing some different things. This is actually the set I use here for the Rusted Garden show. I set this station up just by getting a simple metal shelving unit. They're not too expensive. I've already done a couple videos on showing you the different bulbs and setups that you can get, but in each area there, it's 2 bulbs in each of those, so it's 4 bulbs, giving enough light for me to do my seed starts. Up here are different lettuces and greens, and it's too early to do that right now because it's still freezing temperatures outside. We're still getting down to the 20s, but this is for a video, and it's also an experiment I'm doing. The seed starts over here, just plain starting mix. Over here I have premium worm castings in there from Vermisterra, and you can see the plants are nice and big. So I'm going to be doing a video on what's the best way to fertilize your seed starts. Down here I have my herbs started, and these are really started to go out into my garden. Herbs you can start 8 to 12 weeks early. Most of them can take a frost, and a tip I have is you can see right down there is some styrofoam. Save the like-size pieces of styrofoam you get in packaging, and you can raise your trays to get closer to the lights. That's a lot easier than moving your lights up and down. Some of the herbs that I am starting, we have parsley, rosemary, chives, oregano, thyme, more rosemary, some true lavender, Munstead lavender, that's sage, a different variety of parsley, and some onions. And you can see the tops are a little bit burned there. That's because they grew into the grow lights. I just adjusted all these and raised them because some of the onions were growing into the lights and the tips were burning. And now that I have the set height, again, go ahead and use styrofoam or blocks to raise your seed trays up. Those are mushrooms I'm growing. That's a second round. I've got lion's mane, shiitake, oyster mushrooms, and that's a reishi over there. Just something different that I'm doing to kind of pass January. Here's my grow closet. I'll get there in a second, but I just wanted to show you can kind of see the setup that I'm using for the set. Now I'm going to cut into this grow closet in a minute and just show you how I set up that middle tier there with the aluminum foil and stuff like that. I just wanted to show you one section of the before. This is my grow light closet. This is what I'm doing today. And this is where I germinate my seeds. Now, the lights are, I don't know, what is that, 6 or 8 inches high. Remember, I've been saying that when you germinate seeds, you want the lights to be 2 inches above the plants so that they get that intensity of light. So what I do is I just put some pieces of styrofoam underneath the seed trays, or I flip over a seed flat and I just raise it. But this distance allows me to not only seed start, up close, but as they grow, I drop the tray down. So back there are my T8 bulbs. They're brand new. I did a video on that, and I replaced these T12s with that, and I basically moved the lights back. Another light is going to hang right here, and that's going to be the LED system here, which I actually recommend. Out of the box from Walmart, it's 38 bucks. 5,000 lumens, 6,500 Kelvin, and that's going to hang right in here. But I wanted to show you what it looks like before I started this tour finished. I'm also going to put foil around the back there and also on the lights, and that just helps reflect the light back. And sometimes people say, well, if you use foil, it's going to make hot spots. That's not true with these fluorescent lights. Foil is perfectly fine for this application. Actually, science has shown that white board or white color does better at reflecting, but for this close space, the foil is good. And that also helps insulate the area, warm it up a little bit so that your seeds germinate a little bit more. But I just wanted to show you what one section of my closet looks like before I fix it up and you see it in the tour that I'm doing now. So here it is fixed up with the foil, and I just wanted to give you a couple of tips. Definitely use heavy duty foil for the bottom of your seed starting area because it's heavier, it's thicker, so when you're moving stuff around it's not going to tear. The standard aluminum foil is too thin to do that, but you can use the aluminum foil basic all along the sides and the back. That will just reflect some of the light back. That doesn't hurt. It may not help a lot from that distance on those sides to the right and the back, but it certainly doesn't hurt. So the distance I was talking about, I use this upside down tray here. We'll just insert my germinating seeds here. They're about 2 to 3 inches from that light when that's done. And when they get bigger, I can just drop a flat down here, still 2 to 3 inches above it. A couple other tips is I make a flap out of foil. This flap has actually been around, I don't know, probably 5 years. Heavy duty foil again. Outline it in duct tape. That keeps the edges from tearing. And you just tape it onto here and you just drop this down. That will reflect light back. This does make a lot of difference because it's really close to the light. Sometimes your seed trays pop out a little bit and you can just raise it when you need to get in there. And then in the gap that's up here, I just set a piece of foil. Some more reflection. Helps keep the warmth into a little bit, helps with germination. But this is the basic setup that I use for my closet in here. Hopefully it gives you some ideas of what you might do to sort of spruce up your grow light closet. So you can set up your own grow closet. Up top there is just my storage and different supplies. The key thing here is make sure that when you build the tables or you build the shelving, make it perfectly level, nice and flat. That's so when you're watering, the water equally spreads out across the tray. And I also slid in a table there right in the bottom so that I didn't have to build another shelving unit. But let me just explain what I have going on. Up here are my brighter lights, my T8s, my LEDs that you've seen in videos, and that's really where I germinate the seeds. For germinating seeds, you really want the lights to be 2-3 inches above them. And you can see, flipped over a seed tray, raise the seed starts to about 2 to 3 inches below the lights. And then when they get bigger, I just pull the flat out, drop it, and they can still grow. Something interesting that I'm working on a video right here is what happens if you overfeed your plants. Now this was overfed with a liquid fertilizer, and what happens is the tips dry up, the peppers survived a little bit better, but the tomatoes just started dying. Over fertilizing your seed starts will cause more harm than under fertilizing, so just let that be a tip. Start with quarter strength of the liquid fertilizers you're using. Try and make sure you're under a 5-5-5. A 1-1-1's perfectly. And again, I'm using worm castings because I want to come up kind of with a foolproof way to feed and take care of my plants without having to introduce organic or chemical fertilizers in there. As we work our way down, the intensity of the light, I don't know if you can see it on this camera, but the lights up top are much brighter, closer to 6,500 Kelvin. They start to yellow a little bit as you come down here. That means the Kelvin value is dropping. That's okay. So the top level is where I do my germination, and you know, I really want the intense light there. When they're established, they come down here. The lights are a little bit higher from the shelf right there, the table actually. And that's just to grow them, you know, into their second, third, fourth week. And when they're already established after germination, a little bit less light is perfectly fine. And then this is my third level, where when the plants are bigger, just about ready to go outside, the lights are much more placed higher off the ground so that the bigger transplants can get in there. And that's just a little LED stick to provide some extra light. Let's see if I step back, if you can see the color difference. I think that you can. So the top light is 6,500 Kelvin. It's got a 5,000 lumen LED light in there, T8s in the back, nice and bright, perfect for seed starting. And then those are my older T12 tubes from years ago. Still working, but not as intense, but it's okay. The most important time for seed starting is right when the seed breaks the surface. They want intense light. Keep the intense light on for 5 to 7 days. That's about 18 hours of light, and then you can start cutting the light back, and you can, you know, even change the intensity and drop your plants down. One more quick tip while we're at it. This is all set up on a timer system, which is really wonderful. I just set it right now. This is set for 16 hours on now. Sometimes I actually start with 18 hours on, then I go to 16 hours on, then to 14 hours on. But it's nice, and it's a nice simple way to take care of your plant. You can just check on the watering, you know, every other day, and the lights will come on and off. You don't even have to come down. And then if you got a wife that's not crazy about everything to do with gardening, you know, you can put it in a closet and just close it, and you got everything going on right in there. Hope you enjoyed the tour. This is where I'm at, is January 28th. In about 4 weeks I'll be getting out into the garden. I'll be doing real-time videos on these different seed starts to help you plan out your garden. Hope you enjoyed it. Please check out my seed shop at www.therusticgarden.com. Thanks.